Hello, hello, hello. My name is Classy Brown, and I am your intuitive and clarity coach. First, I would like to say thank you to Leticia Campbell and her wonderful team for putting on such an amazing virtual conference. Um, we need more women out here dominating and extending their hand to educate women, celebrate women. So I'm so excited to be here. This is my first conference with her. I am an intuitive and clarity coach. What is that? Um, I help women get clarity in their lives and find a clear path for the life that they want to live. I get a lot of questions about what should I do? Where should I go in this situation and in that situation? And I help them with clarity. Now, granted, it is not always the happiest of news, but to me, clarity is one of the best things that you can ever have, because once you are clear, then you can, make a clear path, make an informed decision. Your decisions don't always have to be made through emotion because you have more information. One of the things that I talk to women mostly about is you cannot change other people. And that, unfortunately, is where a lot of the questions are, or the stopgap, or the barricade, because they want someone to be different than who they are. And I am kind of taking a detour from what I was going to talk about today, but it all ties into wealth, health, and relationships and how to dominate. Because the most important thing that I think that you can know is that you cannot change other people. You can influence them by your actions. You can influence them by the life that you live. You can inspire people to be different, or to change their ways, or to elevate, to dominate. But there is no guarantee that that happens. And the reason for the detour, and I'm going to circle back around, but the reason for the detour is I had this wonderful talk, and in a positive way, it talks about health, wealth, and relationships and boundaries, right? But I am the creator of a couple groups, and I've had a lot of coaching sessions. And one of the themes that has been very serious right now is relationships and breakups. And I'm not just talking about with married people. I'm talking about business relationships. And one of the things that is most dear to me is personal relationships, like best friend relationships. And it's been so hard and such a struggle. So what I want you to understand is that breaking up from your best friend, and you're like, oh, I'm this businesswoman and I'm getting it in this world. Listen, breaking up with your best friend can sometimes be worse than breaking up with a lover or a husband, or, because you chose this person and you guys been riding for each other for a really long time. And to break up is devastating. It kind of rocks your world, because that was your person. That was your person, your confidant. That was your person who you thought you were going to walk through life with, as you both are navigating the world. And here's what I want to tell you, that it is unfortunate, but a lot of times these things are necessary, and they are hurtful, and you can get through them. And I want to let you know that sometimes these things happen because you can't take everyone with you on your journey to wherever it is that you're going. And that is a tough pill to swallow when you have this idea of friendship and learning and growing together. Some people just aren't ready or prepared for the journey. Or more importantly, they don't want that journey. And that's okay. You have to know when to let go. You have to know when to fight for your relationship, but you also have to know when to let go. And you have to believe that the universe, that God, that whatever spiritual influence you believe in has something better for you. We arrived in this world by ourselves, unless you were a twin, but we weren't always meant to navigate the world by ourselves. But that doesn't mean that the people that you start with are the people that you end with. So I want you to be encouraged when you're having struggles in your friendships and that they end. There's someone, there are groups out there waiting for you to reach your next level, cheering you on, waiting to love and support you where you are and where you're going. And hopefully you can end on not a terrible note and wish that person well for their future endeavors. I just had to put that out there because my intuition, that's another part of my business, right, is to feel what vibe my clients are on. It is to feel the vibe in the universe. You know, I was having a conversation with one of my clients the other day and I was like, why does it feel like you're holding your breath? She wasn't literally holding her breath in that moment, but the energy was arrested. And as we talked about it, she was afraid, right? And not the type of fear that kept her from moving forward, but the type of fear that had her holding her breath and moving cautiously. That's part of what I do. I feel the things that you don't necessarily think that you want to talk about or that you don't think is noticeable. That's the intuitive part of my business. I've been this way my whole life. All right, now that I have done that, we can get down to the get down, which is my presentation. I also want to say that what I just said also is a great framework for what I'm about to say, right? But I had to say that first because it is something that is going on. I don't even want to say it's an epidemic, but especially among women who are powerful and amazing or on the rise, you know, sometimes there's a disconnect in friendships. And I just wanted to encourage you in that moment. And I feel your heart. You can talk to me if you need some clarity, if you need some comfort, if you need some tools. Moving on to how to dominate health, wealth, and relationships. So when I was growing up, I was watching this show called A Different World. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. And it had this person, and her name was Whitley. And she had this slogan called Relax, Relate, Release. So that is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about relaxing, relating, and releasing. And I got my notes over here on the side. And we're going to talk about boundaries, right? Because that's in essence what all of this is about. I know boundaries is such a scary word, but do not be scared. Boundaries is a really nice word for framework. I mean, boundaries can mean many things. Boundaries can literally mean a line. Boundaries can mean laws. Boundaries can be rules. Boundaries can be separation. But in essence, all of that is just framework. And I like to think that boundaries give you an opportunity to keep people out sometimes, as well as invite people in. And this framework helps everyone know how to operate when they're in your space. And personally, how to operate in your own life. So we just don't have boundaries for other people. We really have boundaries for ourselves as well. So relax. Take time for yourself. Care for yourself, mind, body, and soul. Realize that you too are a work in progress and that you are your own key to success, and everything begins and ends with you. So when we talk about caring for yourself, I am not just talking about facials. I am talking about having a therapist, having a coach, having cohorts and masterminds with like-minded people who can pour into you, who you can gain tools and knowledge about whatever is going on with you, right? Because in the world, you may have to be a little compartmentalized, but inside, all of the compartments are you. So you have to maintain your mind, your body, and your soul. And you should do that as a preemptive measure and not a defensive tactic, because A, it's better to be ready so you don't got to get ready, so you don't have to react when things come up, right? Relate. Great and effective communication. It is the key to long-lasting relationships, whether that is health relationships with yourself or other people, wealth, business is all about relationships, or those interpersonal relationships. Effective communication is, I think, the key. So I want you to remember that everyone isn't where you are. And when you're communicating, try to meet them where they are, right? Listen for understanding, not for rebuttal. Listen for understanding and speak for clarity. Sometimes we get into this back and forth sometimes, and it's just not necessary, It's just not necessary. Yeah. I'm looking at my notes because I just lost my thought. So you can speak on it, write about it, even play it out in your actions or a representation of you in a scenario. Remember, I said that communication is, one of the most amazing things, and that everybody isn't on your level. Well, guess what? Everyone doesn't have the same communication style. So not only do you have to attempt to meet them on their level, right? You want to pick the communication style that is most effective for the group of people that you're trying to reach, or the person that you're trying to reach. If you're with someone who gets choked up with their words, maybe you should write them something instead, or give them notes to look at so they don't get lost in the presentation or the discussion. Also, when you write things down, not always, it helps to keep people on track, right? Release. Don't take everything personally. Even when it is clear that people are not on your team and that the situation and the persons are not acting in a place of integrity, and that they even may be gunning for you, they do not have your best interests. Do not take it to heart and let it cloud your judgment or deter your journey. And I think that this is, for one, it's easier said than done, but this is one of the biggest keys that I think I can ever give away, right? And I'm not saying that you should keep entertaining when people do not have your best interests at heart. However, how you feel and how you operate are not always congruent. It is not always convenient for you to check out. Not always. Certain situations need you to keep going forward, even though you're in enemy territory, right? Because on the other side is your victory. On the other side is where you want to be. On the other side is your acquisition. You have to understand that sometimes someone's purpose is to deter you. And that's scary to think about at times, that someone is out here for me, right? That's their job. It's not just you. It's all the yous. It's everyone. That is their job, to defer. That is their job to check and recheck. That is their job to make you see, do you really want it? That's their job. Don't take it personally. You have to remember why you're on this journey. You have to remember why you're going after this thing. You have to remember that on the other side is where you want to be. It is okay for you to make decisions about your health, wealth, and relationships based on your boundaries, your comfort, and your success before it becomes a defensive tactic in response to your plan. So it is great to have a sense of boundaries. It is great. First of all, it's great to know the plan and know all the players when you can. Second of all, it is also great for you to have a strong sense of self, a strong sense of mission, and a strong sense of accomplishment and what those steps are in each of those things. If you already know that there is opposition, it'll be easier for you to keep your frame of mind in a place of positivity and determination than if it was something that was sprung on you. But even sometimes when those things are sprung on you, when you have good boundaries, when you have a good sense of self, when you have been relaxing and relating, it is easier to get through to the release. I also want to say that sometimes, conversely, it is okay for you to tap out. And that brings us back around to the first thing that I said in the beginning. When you have given all that you have to give, sometimes it's good for you to know this isn't for me, right? That's why you got to know you. That's why you got to know stuff about yourself. That's why you have to have tools. That's why you have to be in constant relationship with yourself. That's why you always have to be tending yourself. That is why you always have to be honing your skills, so you know when you've given your all and when it is time to leave the table. I also want to tell you that you should tap into your intuition, be authentic, care for yourself, and get enough rest. You should gather support from all places that are supportive, right? This is why we have coaches. This is why we have support groups. This is why we have masterminds. This is why we have conferences where you can meet amazing women and go seek where they are and be in their presence of greatness and feel supported. This is why we have all these things. Yeah. So just to recap, relax, relate, release. That means take care of yourself. Effective communication, have great boundaries, know your plan, know your mission, know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Make sure that you are seeking out your best support. And it is okay to let go of things that no longer serve you, even when it is sad. And I want you to know there is better and greater for you if you just keep on going. That was my talk. I hope it was good to you. I am your intuitive and clarity coach. I will be doing something on boundaries, which I think is one of the keys to life. You should get at me at worldaccordingtoclassy.com. Yeah. See all of my offerings. Sign up for the wait list for the boundaries. I also have a rest challenge for those of us who are so into domination that we forgot how to rest. Rest to be more productive. Rest because rest is something that we do. Rest is a place where you heal. Rest is a place where you pause before you press. And if you need one-on-one attention, you need individual coaching, whether it is for your professional or your personal life, make sure to click that link and schedule with me on Calendly. It was my pleasure coming to you. I hope that you got something out of this presentation. I chose not to do slides because I want us to be a little more intimate. And I honestly get a little weird when I get the slides. I want to be like precise with the slides instead of in my intuitive voice trying to reach you where you are. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to dominate in your health, in your wealth, in relationships. Have good boundaries and know that there is better to come. Goodbye.